A prayer vigil is happening right now to remember the 7 people killed in the Sapelo Island gangway collapse in Georgia. This began just moments ago at 6 o'clock. A live look for you inside St. Paul AME Church, where that vigil is being held. 2 of the 4 people from Jacksonville who were killed in the collapse were members of the church, Carlotta McIntosh and Isaiah Thomas. The 2 other victims from Jacksonville were Jacqueline Cruz Carter and Cynthia Gibbs.
And tonight, investigators are still working to pinpoint what caused the gangway to collapse. The Georgia DNR is in charge of the state investigation. DNR officials have now put up new signs at the entrance of the gangway to limit the amount of people who can be on it. The new rules state that only 8 people can be on the dock at a time. And the number decreases to 4 people if they have dock carts or equipment. At the time of the collapse, there were upwards of 40 people on the gangway.
IT reporter John Acebus spoke with an engineer for new insight into the gangway's construction.
I spoke with a UNF professor. He has expertise in bridge building. When we went through the records, and there are many, he took me to this drawings page. Right now, he's trying to find out who made these materials. He believes with this graph and his calculations, he can find out why that bridge collapsed.
Design deficiency, construction fault, in material deficiency as well, or fabrication error. And we rule out the environmental impact, the corrosion and the fatigue, since it's a very new structure.
I'm sitting in front of University of North Florida professor Dr. Adel ElSafty. He's a civil engineer with expertise in bridge engineering.
Basically, we are thinking of 3 to 4 possible causes for any of these failures. Either a design deficiency in this gangway, meaning that the cross-section themselves are not sturdy enough to sustain this loading. That's one thing. The connections are not designed well. The load that you should sustain, which is listed somewhere as 50 pounds per square foot, that can carry over 100 or 150 persons, is that really what is being implemented?
The gangway that fell at Sapelo Island Saturday was holding 20 or more people. Dr. ElSafty went through the records with me. He went straight to the drawings page, where we found the design of the gangway.
That is basically what we're looking for.
He wants to find out who made the actual materials used.
Did they account for any kind of impact loading, any other kind of design considerations? So what kind of design specs that they use, and what kind of design cross-sections that we came up with. And we see whether there is any deficiency or not.
Right now, the list of the records continues to grow. The company responsible for the contracting of the work, Centennial Contractor Enterprises, issued a statement Wednesday saying they are on scene helping with the investigation.
When you kind of retrieve that broken part,
right,
and then you can just see, is there any buckling in some of the members?
The collapsed gangway itself is out of the water as local, state, and federal agencies investigate. Dr. ElSafty tells me in order to do a proper investigation, investigators need to do a thorough investigation. Pictures of the gangway in the water need to have been taken so it can be viewed in its proper failed position.
So that if there is any damage, we know that damage happened because of the failure. If you start moving things and straighten some members, then you might lose some evidence.
He tells me the key is finding the fabricator of the materials. New4Jax is still going through the droves of records being continually added to. As of Thursday, there are many, but none in the file for vessel maintenance. Meanwhile, investigators do their part to find the cause. Given the fact that they've got the structure and they're obviously, have all the records, ideally, how long should it take to figure this out?
It shouldn't be more than, I think, in my case, it's different from one office to another, but in my case, it should be like 2 weeks, a week or 2.
DNR officials say it could take weeks before all the files are added in the records. John Acebus, Channel 4, the local station.